Awesome. So now we're going to check out the power rule, and hopefully all of that works. So the power rule is essentially what to do if you get something that looks like this. So again, your official power rule as deemed appropriate by people who deem things appropriate in algebra books is going to look something like this. And they're going to say blah, 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 blah equals blah, 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 blah. And you're going to be like, whatever. I have no idea what that means. But that's okay. So let me show you what it means. So let's pretend that we had, let's say, x and y. So this is the official thing you're supposed to learn. Let's pretend we had x and y, x times y cubed. All right? So actually, let's make it even better. Let's just pretend we had x cubed. Now, you know that x cubed means that we're going to go x times x times x, right? Okay. So if we have xy cubed, that means we're going to go xy, 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 like that. So since it's all multiplication, that means we can get rid of the parentheses and say xy, xy, xy. And we can rearrange those terms. So we can make those terms look like x, 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 y, y, y. So we can combine the first set together to get x cubed. And then we can combine the second set together to get y cubed. All right? So basically that's what our power rule is saying, is it's allowing us to go from here to here without all those intermediate steps. All right, so if you kind of look at what the power rule is saying, is it says, if I have a times b to some power, then that's equivalent to a to that nth power, and then b to that nth power. It actually would apply for as many things as I wanted to do. So again, what we did here is we said that xy cubed was blah, 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 equal to x cubed, y cubed. Okay, and if you, again, get stuck on a test, you're like, I don't think I'm remembering this right, you can always just go in and reorder it and work it out by hand, and it'll come out straight. So we could actually have xyz to cubed, and if we did all that again, it would still come out to x cubed, y cubed, z cubed. If we had 5xyz cubed, it would still come out to 5 cubed, x cubed, what? That's not a cube. X cubed, y cubed, z cubed. Okay? So that'd be like 125 x cubed, y cubed, z cubed, but that doesn't matter. So basically the idea is that power rule just means that if you have a whole bunch of stuff and it's all raised to a certain power, that everything in that is raised to a power. And that's only, though, if they're being multiplied by each other. So this is true here. But if I had a plus b to the n, that's not equal to a to the n plus b to the n, okay? Because that wouldn't make any sense, because I can't, that doesn't work. Don't you love whenever professors say things like, that doesn't work, because clearly. Okay, let me give you a good reason why that doesn't work. Let's say I had 3 plus 2 squared, okay? So I can't go 3 squared plus 2 squared, because that would be 9 plus 4, which would be 13. Where clearly 3 plus 2 is 5, and 5 squared is equal to 25. So that's wrong. I can't just apply that to the individuals. What I'd have to say is 3 plus 2 times 3 plus 2. That would be okay. This is all bad. So the only time that this power rule thing works is if everything inside it is being multiplied together. If you're adding things together, then it's super bad. You don't want to do that. Okay, so and again, if you're getting stuck and you're sitting on the test and you're like, okay, so I have 3 plus 2 squared. Now, can I apply that 2 to each side? Well, I'm not sure. Let me take the long route. Let me go ahead and multiply it out. So I've got 3 plus 2 times 3 plus 2. Oh, well, that's 5 times 5. That's 25. You know, so again, if you're kind of understanding the why for all of these things, if you're skipping the, so count yourself smart. If you're skipping the videos and just doing homework, they're probably not doing well. The fact that you're even still watching these videos is so commendable, and you're going to end up in a much better place because of it. All right, so that's our, whatever you call it, that's the power rule. Another way that you can see the power rule is kind of with division. So they would say a over b to the n is still going to be equal to a to the n over b to the n. And again, that's just like if I had x over y cubed, that would be x over y times x over y. So anytime you're confused, just bring it back down to the basics. All right, I can combine all those to x, x, x over y, 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 x cubed over y cubed. So again, the idea would be to go straight from here to say x over y quantity cubed is going to be x cubed over y cubed. All right, so that's kind of what you're looking at there. And again, it's always good to practice. So pause the video, see how far you can get. These are all kind of tricky because the rule itself is pretty straightforward, so we've got to kind of mess with you a little bit. That's how life is. It's fun. So anyway, pause the video, see how far you can get. All right, let's assume you did that. Now again, on this first one, if you're starting to freak out, all you have to do is write that down 3 times. Okay? So you can write that whole thing down 3 times and see where it takes you. So that's probably what I would do the first time I was solving it, because I might not have a whole lot of confidence in myself the first time I was doing something like this. So you could say, okay, well, I have -5, I have 3 -5s, and then I have 3 x's. So, and I might still not feel that great about that -5 cube thing. So I might actually end up writing those back out again. I might end up going straight. I might skip this step entirely and just go straight to this one right here. So I've got -5 times -5, which is +25. +25 times -5 is going to be -125. So you could have done it like that. Alternatively, if you were applying the rule as we have it, then you could go -5 cubed times x cubed. So that's, again, going to be -125 x cubed. And if you're like, well, how was I supposed to know that the negative goes in there? All right, so I'm going to do you one better. No, not that. Let's do something kind of weird. And if you think this is going to confuse you, don't look at it. What you could do is, now remember, I told you not to look at this if you think it's going to confuse you. You could put the -1 cubed, 5 cubed, and then the x cubed, like if you wanted to separate the -5 into a negative and a 5. So the -1 cubed is going to be -1 and then 125 and x cubed. And again, there are a couple people for whom that just like makes everything like, oh, I finally understand what we're doing now. For most other people, it makes you go, I thought I knew what we're doing, now you're confused. So if you're the please, 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 let's pretend that never happened, just cross that out and don't worry about it. Just go back to how we had it before. Okay, so now we're looking at these, and we want to, again, apply that 5th to each individual power. So we have x squared to the 5th and y to the 5th. So x squared to the 5th, remember we're going to multiply those together. Because again, the idea is that we have, let me pull this guy down, get a little bit more room. So again, the idea for this one is that we have x squared times x squared times x squared times x squared times x squared. I'm going to run out of room. Let's move this back over. Okay, so I have 5x squareds, and then I have a y to the 5th. So again, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 x squareds, and a y to the 5th. So a lot of people will just go, as soon as they see something like this, they just go 5 times 2 is 10. So x to the 2 raised to the 5th is just going to give you x to the 10. And I don't even think that really you have to do anything that complicated. Like I said, I was just trying to throw something I could think of weird at you to see how you could do. If you got that figured out, that's wonderful. And again, the same thing here. If you got as far as saying x squared to the 5th over y to the 5th, then pat yourself on the back. You did exactly what we needed to do. If you were able to take that all the way to x to the 10th over y to the 5th, then you're in just absolutely phenomenal shape.